Hey, so today we're going to be taking a look at XCOM2, the newly released sequel to a game that I thoroughly enjoyed in concept, the original XCOM game. I guess it'd be the XCOM game reboot of those other XCOM games, but that's neither here nor there. So, in this XCOM game, the game presumes that you have lost the battle against the aliens that invaded in the first game, and you are now tasked with guerrilla combat as far as taking over or taking back, I should say, the country world, taking back the world. Yeah. So you're tasked with taking back the world from the aliens, collecting pieces of resistance fighters as you go along.
I am still hard at work on the current research.
So instead, in this game, you have a flying carrier instead of the underground base, but it functions identically. So you are tasked with building different buildings inside after you hollow out the alien remains. And you have access to different weapon upgrades as long as you research them. And so
Just give the word and I'll get started, Commander.
the UI more or less and menu hub, I guess, functions identical to the previous game. And as far as I can tell, when you start a game, you are randomly selected a pre-existing location, and that is then your home base. You don't actually get to pick where you start this time, which kind of disappointing. There's no bonuses from what I can tell from where you start, and then you are tasked with moving out from your starting location to find resistance and make contact with them. And then after you make contact with them, you can continue making contact with the next available connected region of the globe. And so after that, you are then supposed to attack a stronghold of the aliens, and then for every stronghold that you destroy, it takes away or elongates the time it takes them to complete their project, and once they complete their project, the game is over. Simple as that. So first, we're going to take a look at some customization, because that was something that was interesting to me in the XCOM2 as far as expanding on the customization from the first game, because I felt the first game was a little lacking in that department. So for customization, we've got the four different classes: sniper, heavy weapons guy. They combined a hacker and medic into one class, and then a close range shotgun wielding guy with a sword, and all of these have two different subclasses. You can change their name and props that they are putting on their head. As you can see, there's a lot more props this time. You can also change their armor and torso armor and leg armor individually, so you can have them mismatching or matching. And then there's lower face props, which all seem to be bandanas of different colors for reasons I don't understand why they wouldn't have had more than just 3 different bandana options. And then facial hair, eye color, all that type of stuff. And then you can choose their armor color, secondary color. There's a lot more vastly different armor colors. And then you can change tattoo colors, as well as gun patterns, which was not in the first game. You can put different patterns, as well as changing the color of those patterns. And then they have different voices. There are quite a few different voices, including Australian was added this time. And they're also German, which I don't remember if there was as many German options, but there's quite a few different fully voiced options. And then there's also weapon customization, as far as picking up parts and attaching them to the weapon. You can it visually changes and then also gives different stats to the weapon as well. So that was very much a welcome addition to XCOM2 that I appreciated. So I've got some pre-recorded gameplay of me doing one of the missions. This mission is a mission that did not have a timer. A new addition to this game, which is driving many people very crazy, is a lot of the missions, a good majority of the missions, have a timer, a turn timer, that you have to complete the objective before the timer runs out, or the objective disappears. You failed the objective. Yes, that. There's a couple of missions where if you do not get to the evac location, the evac helicopter just leaves your people within a certain time frame. So you have 7 turns to complete the objective and get your entire squad to the evac point, or you lose those members. They are gone forever. It's like they died, but they didn't actually die. So it's a bit frustrating. People have began modding, making the timers longer, and I'm waiting to find one that just removes them altogether. I think they was added to stop people from just camping in with Overwatch. And while that's a good idea, I get the feeling that it has more negative effects. People are more rushed. You get people killed faster, which the game seems to encourage, getting your soldiers murdered as quickly as possible with the least amount of ability for you to affect the outcome of their lives. They've also added a concealment option, or mechanic, I guess, in this one, where you can move around undetected by the enemies. Some of them are on patrol, some of them just stand in a certain space, and you can essentially sneak up on them. Now, there are no ways of silently taking them out, so you can't find a group of like 3 of them and go, okay, I've surrounded them. If I organize this right, I can take them out and then no more aliens will see me. No. Once you shoot at any of them, or you step in a square that they can see you from, or God forbid they run in your location towards you and they spot you, all of the aliens on the map see you instantaneously. Story-wise, they say that all the aliens are connected through some neural link type of thing where they're psychically connected, and I guess as soon as one sees you, they can all see you. Part of me is glad they explained that story-wise, but gameplay-wise, it's frustrating. Also, as soon as they spot you, they can move. So if you don't have your entire squad in Overwatch, when you accidentally or intentionally trigger the reaction, they get to move and you can't do anything about it. Now that seems a bit counterproductive to having the timer where they want you to hurry up. So there's like a conflict of interest as far as what the game seems to want you to do. They want you to move quickly through the level because there's a timer, yet they also put you at a huge disadvantage as far as stumbling upon enemies. And a simple fix, I guess, would be not letting them move when they see you. Especially enemies that you actually haven't found yet. They're just triggered as far as the, as I was saying, with them finding you. One of them sees you, they all see you, so they get to move also when the original group that you find is spotted, which means now instead of 3 enemies you're now facing 6 enemies, and they get to move, and it doesn't, it could be in the middle of your turn or the end of your turn and you forgot to put everyone in Overwatch because you're trying to move to the objective, so then your entire squad is probably going to get wiped out, which is counterproductive to leveling them up, seeing as that you need them alive in order to continue the mission to finish the objective in a timely manner. And then once you level them up, they're more likely to shoot the things accurately. So it's like two separate mechanics are fighting against each other to create artificial difficulty. I feel like the game I found was frustratingly difficult in terms of I wanted to make my friends from the beginning, and I wanted to allow them to level up and complete the game as a squad together, more or less, you know, plus or minus them getting injured and stuff. But I found myself restarting a lot of the missions because one of them would die to something out of my control. And I feel like more time restarting missions, ensuring squad members survived, than I did enjoying the tactical aspect of the game, because that was something that really drove me to play this and enjoy this game, was the turn-based tactical aspect of it. And when you, I don't want to say remove it, but you limit the ability to play the way you want because of limiting factors, rules in the game, it kind of is a bit off-putting to me. I guess I feel like in this type of game you shouldn't be forced to play a specific way, and that goes back to some of the building and tech options that I also had issues with in the first game, but that you had to build the buildings in a certain order or you would essentially lose the game, because you only have an X number of resources, you have an X number of turns before the enemy advances in its project to destroy you, and if you don't build, let's say, like in this one, there's the guerrilla outpost building, which increases your squad size. Now this is essential. You, as far as I know, and as far as my playtesting has gone, you need at least 5 people to complete most of the missions. Mostly because one of them's gonna die, because squad survivability is low. Even higher ranked soldiers, as you can say in the mission behind me, just get utterly destroyed by these grunts. And not to mention hitting the enemy is a bit difficult. But yeah, you have to build things in order to get to the proper building in time, so you have the available troops that you need to complete the mission. And to me, I would much rather experiment with some of the buildings, try all the different types of options. There's a lot of different weapons and armor that I will probably never touch, because there's this armor and it does the best and you can get it early, and so unless you're floating on a bunch of resources and time, you don't get the freedom to build what you want in order to experiment with the different combinations of weapons and items and armor and abilities. So that I found was a bit frustrating, and I found the game overall frustrating. I started out on, I think it was the 2nd difficulty level, and I had kind of forgot that I didn't put it on easy and was getting angry that everyone was dying. Put it on easy. It's a little bit more bearable. I still had some injuries and nobody was like 100% unaffected by combat, as they were, you know, taking damage and they had to heal. But less people were dying outright. One of the earlier missions I had, where I believe it's the tutorial mission. Well, not the tutorial mission, but there's another mission if you skip the tutorial, which is like the starter mission. And 3 out of 4 of my squad members died. And this seemed to be the intended outcome for this mission. And I thought it was kind of odd that they would encourage you to lose people, because it's hard enough keeping them alive intentionally. But in a semi-staged mission, it seemed kind of odd, unless they wanted you to realize that losing people happens in this game. And while it does happen, it seems to happen a bit more frequently than I would like. And I was kind of hoping there would be some sort of shift as far as survivability goes, as far as squad members and individual soldiers in general. In the meantime, I will be enjoying watching my soldiers die in really ridiculous manners with little to nothing I can do about it, because the enemy gets a free turn when I see them, which I think is still pretty silly. Hopefully some of the DLC / season pass expansions add some cool stuff. That would be awesome. I like cool stuff. Also, this game supports the Steam Workshop, so there are already a couple 150 mods already on the workshop. Some of them were cosmetic items, some of them were timers, extending the timers. Some of them were camera, or one of them was a camera edit that allowed you to rotate the camera all the way around without being stuck into those 4 positions, so you had like complete control. Anyway, I enjoy this game, even though it does make me a bit frustrated. I probably am playing it wrong, but I'm playing it the way I'd like to play it, and I don't know if that way is the intended way, which is unfortunate, but it is very satisfying when a plan that you have set up works out and you are able to evac your entire squad in its entirety with no casualties. So I will keep playing for those moments, and I will keep playing for those moments at which those awesome weapon animations kill things, because they are very pretty. So here's to the season pass adding some substantial content, and here's to the modders allowing me to play the game that I would like to play. And I'm just gonna let the rest of this mission play out here, because it is a textbook example of how XCOM goes from good to bad almost instantaneously. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Wiggin. I'll catch you next time.
We should just leave him.
I can handle that. Impressed yet? Weapons empty. Can't engage.
Let's do this. Whoa, you see that? Ready to go. Waffe geladen. Ziel neutralisiert. Let's move already! So, here it is. Moving to Overwatch.
Seems doable. Got it covered.
I'm on it.
The Curious Gamers is all you need in a game.